Right, remember the big update that's expected will be with regard to the NEET, the hearing today in the Supreme Court. The National Testing Agency has filed a written submission before the Supreme Court ahead of the hearing, and this is basically in response to the petitioners. It's been a common compilation in the Supreme Court. It's almost a reiteration of the submissions as well. Now, remember, the question will be if this is a systematic failure, that it's not just individuals, but systematic failure that's happened in this case, and then eventually the issue of retest will also come in. I want to immediately bring in India Today's legal correspondent Kanu Sarda joining me on the first up right now. Kanu, good morning, because I know that lakhs of candidates and the parents as well will be watching what unfolds in the Supreme Court. Tell us, what are we expecting? How will the NDA really defend and say this wasn't a systematic issue?
Good morning, Pooja. Well, the NTA has filed its written submissions over the common compilation filed by the petitioners, saying that NTA submission affidavit before the top court on the earlier occasion was not up to the mark, and they have cited that NTA the exam was a systemic failure, but NTA has categorically denied the same. And NTA has went on to say that the students who have got good marks is because of the thing that there was a reduction in the syllabus of 25%. They have actually recreated whatever they have said in the affidavit only. It's an old repetition of the thing. But the whole point is that the Supreme Court will now have to consider whether the counselling of the NEET can go on, because the counselling is already delayed and the session is going to be delayed if the counselling gets delayed further. So the whole focus of the Supreme Court today would be on managing the rights of those people who have secured well, and for those students who feel that something is being cheated. Because rightly, CBI has also filed its status report, and CBI has, made several arrests in the case already. So Supreme Court will also consider as to how far the investigation in this alleged paper leak has taken place, because CBI, NTA and the centre has admitted before the top court that the leak was there, but it was only situated to a particular region. So that is why the Supreme Court will take note of the fact that since only few candidates got that paper, that is why the paper can't be reheld. But it needs to be seen that what kind of ruling will come from the Supreme Court today, because the Supreme Court will have to balance the rights of those students also who have secured really well without the alleged paper leak also. So balance of rights will be an important thing to look out for from today's hearing in the Supreme Court.
All right, keep tracking the latest, Kanu, on this, because there's going to be a big story of the NEET. It concerns not just about the youth, of course, their aspirations, but it's also about transparency of one of the most important examinations of the country. The Supreme Court of the country will basically deliberate on the ongoing issues and concerns, specifically surrounding the National Testing Agency's examination. Plea will be heard by the top bench here, comprising CJI D.Y. Chandrachud, Justice J.B. Pardiwala and Justice Manoj Misra. The top court will decide if the alleged exam breach was at a systematic level and if it affects the sanctity of the examination as well. The court might order a retest if the breach is widespread. It is not possible to distinguish between tainted and untainted candidates. All of this will be a part of what the eventual order on this will be. Remember, during the 8th of July hearing, the Supreme Court had outlined the parameters on which it may decide if a retest is needed, because many are asking for a re-examination, while it appears that the NTA has said a full-on re-examination is not needed.